Toot-Toot. Let's all roll for our hobby. Let's all roll for our hobby. Oh, let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit. Tipsy's drunk as shit. Onyx loves to hit. Ooh, Rock's magic is handy. Toot-Toot's music is dandy. So let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit. Let's all roll for our hobby to get ourselves a crit. Toot-Toot.
Come, friend, now lend me an ear for a tale of Victor the Weird. He went on an adventure with he, him, and himself, and also his mighty fine beard. Now gather round, I'll tell you about this mighty beast. He may look as human, as mere as you, friend, but soon your eyes will feast upon this marvelous creature with many body parts. His one shirt may fool you, but what if I told you his chest had 4 red hearts? One mouth but 1,000 voices, one mind and limited choices. 2 handsome dice, 2 handsome dice. The audience rejoices. He's going to play D&D with him, himself, and he. Those are his pronouns, it's really profound. It's time for D&D, featuring Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor, and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor and Victor. One knows who knows how many repeats. So come and sit down in an empty seat. It's time for D&Me. 2 eyes, 4 cheeks, 2 souls on his feet, 2 hands for winning and foes to defeat, 1 tongue, 2 lips through which to speak, but just one but.
Hey everybody, I'm Victor Rivera, and I play with myself. I play D&D with myself, and I'm back! Yay! Thank you so much for being here. This is episode 34. Boy howdy, the last couple weeks / months have been bonkers, so it's great to be back. Thank you for having me, of course. Yes, welcome to episode 34. I'm glad to be back. I've done a couple cool things. So earlier this afternoon, I arted the Convex Crimson, which I do want to reassure that it's canon. It's the Convex Crimson. I want to show y'all what I did. So I'm just gonna scoot it around a little bit. Yeah, look, it's that sphere that I talked about, like you entering into the sphere, and then I did the Redbubble font for the Convex Crimson, and then I spent way too long doing the mirror reflection in the sphere, and then I was like, okay, well, also because there's this really cool yellow gate right here, then I'm like, okay, well, it needs to curve around in the reflection so you can kind of see in through it. And then I was like, okay, well, because there was some other lighting on this sphere, and then I was like, but all this sky would be reflected, so I did this patch of sky, and then I was like, oh, well, I can actually the whole vortex, so it's a lot, but I think it looks amazing. That was suggested by my dad and my mom, because I asked what other Easter eggs. Woo, Easter! It's the Easter episode. I don't have anything planned for the Easter episode, but yeah, Easter. So I had the Griffin Rider, the Cavalry Rider up there, and I was like, what other Easter eggs would y'all like to see? And so the Crimson Convex. The Convex Crimson. Okay, the Convex Crimson was suggested, so I didn't do the kobolds yet, but I'm going to save that for Dean Artistry to have the drawn kobolds tapping on the sphere. So, excuse me. There we go. So the Convex Crimson, and then so I want it to be the Convex Crimson, and I'm gonna say it 10 times in a row right now. So the Convex Crimson, 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 the Convex Crimson. The kobolds work in the Convex Crimson, the Convex Crimson, the Convex Crimson, and the kobolds, tax, shipping, and handling, work in the Convex Crimson. All right, let's see if that sticks. And speaking of the Convex... Now, wait a second. Where's Tipsy? Speaking of the Convex Crimson merchandise, Tipsy is wearing all of Tipsy's merchandise. So, in the last episode, at the end, Tipsily drunk bought all of anything with Tipsy's face on it. So right now he is wearing a smart little V-neck and a zip-up hoodie and a pin. He has one of the tote bags with, is that the mouse pad inside it? And then he has a classic mug and then a baseball cap. And then there's a couple stickers everywhere, including one on Waddles. So that's Tipsy. All right, Tipsy, you can go over to your little spot on the banner. Bop. Nope, wrong one. Yeah, there he is. Okay. So, that's that. The Convex Crimson. The Convex Crimson, because that's more clever. Instead of the Crimson Convex, which is red bubble. So, the Convex Crimson. It looks pretty good. I have a couple things to open. When I went home to see my parents this past week, my mom gave me a couple things. So if y'all ever have anything you want to send to me, either D&D stuff or other stuff, within reason, let's keep this good. Reach out to me and I'll tell you where to send it or something. I don't know. But she got me like workbench and tools. So like these primed, paint ready, out of the box minis to like set decorate. So they're great navigators packs. Dodie or something says our system is totally fucked and we are having trouble watching tonight. Okay, well, thank you for letting me know. Am I coming through badly? Look at Tipsy with all his swag. Yeah. Am I coming through badly, or is it just like in North Carolina the internet's stinky? Because I'm looking at my mic and Knox, and this mic is working great tonight. Oh well. The curse continues. No, the curse is stopping. So, my last little set decorations, the wizard's room, she got that for me because it has a gargoyle and a little dragon in the second row here. Bop, bop, bop. And I collect gargoyles. So my sister actually got this for me a couple years ago also. So that's great minds think. So hopefully my parents' system goes well. If not, then we'll both be watching this tomorrow, which is cool. And then, this isn't Dungeons and Dragons, but this is RPG, tabletop role-playing game, if this is what I think it is. So, I'm going to open it up. Oh, I should roll to see. Yeah, one of my boys will open this up. 1 is Tipsy, 2 is Onyx, 3 is Rock, 4 is Toot-Toot. 1, Tipsy, hello, it's me! Look at all my swag, I look fantastic, and everyone should buy everything that with my face on it from the Convex Crimson. Alright, let's open this up. Oh my gosh. I'm bit by bit. Victor, the reception of the streaming Twitch is bad on our end. We plan to watch the uploaded episode tomorrow. Sorry. No worries. No worries. I'm glad it's on your end instead of my end this time. So, I'll see y'all later. And then this will truly be me playing with myself. Alright, I'm gonna get some scissors though. See y'all later. Okay. Also, y'all can watch Moon Knight tonight, because new episodes come out on Wednesday, and Moon Knight is awesome. At me for that. Yeah. Oh my god. This is the strongest plastic in the world. Okay. That took 5 years. Yes. This is the Hellboy role-playing game. True Jack, don't be so sure you're allowed. Hello, True Jack. What a true friend. Hey, True Jack. Yes, this is the Hellboy's role-playing game thingy Victor got, at Kickstarter, like, before 2020. Is that right? I don't know. Kickstarters for 2020 and crowdfunding stuff were truly jacked up. So stuff happened all the time, but this finally came in after like years of ordering it. So I love Hellboy. I have a special connection with my grandma for Hellboy. So, whoa, look at that. That's cool. It's a thing. It's like a timeline or something. And then look at this. It's gorgeous. Oh, with the slip cover? Whoa. And then look at it. That's too cool. Hellboy, the role-playing game. So, that's neat. Oh boy. And the ribbon. Well, that's awesome. Thank you, the people who made the Hellboy, the role-playing game. I'll look back through my emails, but it looks amazing. Oh my gosh, I should have just a mini episode of my boys in the Hellboy universe, the Dark Horse universe, and they could team up with Hellboy and fight a monster. Shh, don't want to jinx it, but we are back via phone. Oh, good thing that's in parentheses or else Twitch will hear it. So, yeah, that'll be cool. I do want to, in my list of my 25 pages of notes, I do want to do like some mini episodes of like a Saturday I play for like 5 hours or something. And I decided to have these like little short episodes, these tiny quests, like these questicles. So, the Convex Crimson. And then, great. So, that's all I got. This is my first time saying questicles on stream, and it just kind of feels good. Oh boy, what a bonkers show. What a bizarre, beautifully bizarre thing I do a week. Okay, here we go. D&Recap. What the heck happened 2 weeks ago for D&Me episode 33? Which is called man, me being off air for like 2 weeks. It was a bonkers 2 weeks, but like I'm just now getting back into the swing of things, and it feels great. Like today, I spent all day not worrying about a mic, and that's amazing. So, yeah, episode 33, D and Merch, March 30th, 2022. And Questicles. Funny. D and Merch. What the heck happened? So, my boys split up. Brock went to go see Sheen, who is taking residence at the Seven Masks Theater. And Toot-Toot, Tipsy, and Onyx went to go keep an eye on Bonnie, who is the strawberry blonde waitress at the Yawning Portal, and Yagra Stonefist, who is the half-orc bodyguard of one of the Black Network, or the Zentirum. And Spruce H says, I can only pop in for a few, but I love all of Tipsy's swag. Thank you, Sarah. Yep. He looks great. And that's what you get. I have the numbers here in a second of how much he spent, but keeping an eye on Bonnie and Yagra Stonefist, who are in fact doppelgangers and shapeshifters from anywhere. So Bonnie, the strawberry blonde waitress, is actually Princess Misdirection, and Yagra Stonefist is her bodyguard, Goliath fighter Tiffany. So, does Tiffany have a last name? I don't remember. It's been a while. It's been a while. There we go. So Rock hung out with Sheen in his dressing room, and they talked about magic and other stuff. And then Sheen offered to teach Rock some bigger magic, some level 3 stuff, even though Rock is only a level 5 wizard. level 4 wizard, so he cannot spend level 3 spells yet. He doesn't know any. But in a list of his choosing of what magics to learn, then Rock actually chose Remove Curse for Tipsy's Were-Rats. And then, back of the Yawning Portal, Toot-Toot, Tipsy, and Onyx, into the Yawning Portal comes Tax, Shipping, and Handling, the 3 kobolds of the Convex Crimson, and they drew up a bunch of merchandise for the boys' new designs that I did, and that we accomplished for a couple weeks of D and artistry. So Tipsy tipsily bought everything with his face on it. Onyx bought 2 shower curtains and a bath mat with his face on it that were blood red. And, well, here, yeah, let me give you those numbers since I'm at the end of the D&Recap. So Onyx bought 2 shower curtains and a bath mat. That comes out if you go onto the Redbubble link, which you can find on Linktree, linktr.ee/D&Me Adventures, and like Gnome. Then the Convex Crimson, if you buy 2 shower curtains and a bath mat with Onyx's face on it, blood red, that turns out to be $139.36. So that's 1 gold and 4 shards, which is silver. So that's a pretty penny. Toot-Toot bought a sticker of each of the boys, and then as Tax and Shipping turned away to tend towards the growing crowd of interested people of all these merchandise, then Toot-Toot reaches over. Excuse me, hold on 2 seconds. So I want a sticker of all of us, but then also, because he's not here and he would absolutely love these, may I purchase Rock's hardcover journal and spiral notebook, please? And then Shipping, taking off the big wicker backpack, he goes,
"Oh, yes, the hardcover journal and the spiral notebook."
and then he kind of dives into the basket with his feet, like, kind of flinging up in the air.
Yeah, there you go.
And so he emerges, and then he hands them to Toot-Toot. Thank you very much. And then Shipping, like, he comes out, and I'm making, like, handling very tactile, and then Tax kind of the head kobold, but then Shipping, like, he takes care of getting things, he takes care of transportation and getting things from one location to another, and then he has, like, this wicker fanny pack strapped to his front, and he goes,
"Hey, come here."
and then he gestures with his claws, and then Toot-Toot, "Oh dear, all right, yes," and then he leans closer, and then he kind of unlatches the top of the whisker basket fanny pack, and he goes,
"You want to buy some eggs? This is not for the Convex Crimson. Do you just want to buy some eggs?"
"Do I want to buy some eggs?"
"Yeah, I can go in your house and hide them around everywhere."
No, I do not want that. I do not.
Come on. It's a good time of year for it.
No. Can I just have my stickers and the books with the half-orc wizard on it, please?
Okay. Just think about eggs, though. A real good investment, okay?
And so then he scurries off to Tax and continuing to hawk the goods. And so, Toot-Toot buying 4 stickers and a hardcover journal and a spiral notebook. That comes to $41.36, which is 4 silver and 2 copper, or 4 shards and 2 nibs, which sounds like what happens after a very heavy night of drinking. Again, that's dragon shards and nibs for gold, silver, and copper. Cobalt Easter egg. Ooh. See, I thought about doing, on Redbubble, you can find the D&Me die logo, and then a pumpkin version of it, and then a Christmas ornament of it. I wanted to do, if I had more than 6 brain cells to put together these past 2 weeks, I wanted to do an Easter egg and then have a shamrock for St. Patrick's Day, because I missed that. But a cobalt Easter egg, yeah. Oh, maybe he laid them. I don't know. So then then Onyx is sitting at the table, like holding up, like you can hear the plastic tarp of the shower curtain, and he holds it up. Yeah, it looks like me. And it's blood red. And then Toot-Toot is like putting his 4 stickers and the books into his pack. And then Tipsy is just this mound face down on the table of merchandise with Tipsy. The original Tipsy, OG Tipsy is face down, but then on every piece of clothing are little Tipsies staring up. It's like oh man. I keep saying cool stuff and I want to art them, but it's like the poster of Doctor Strange 2, so it's like 1,000 Tipsies. That's great. So, yeah, Tipsy's face down, and there's this pile of merch around him. I looked up on the Redbubble. I wanted to see how much Tipsy would spend. The mic sounds great. Yay! Thank you, Angelito Guapo. I will definitely be buying, because I don't like to borrow too much stuff, so I'm definitely going to buy my own version of this mic instead of borrowing it from my roommate. So, yay! Boy. So, yeah, I looked up to see how much it would cost for Tipsy to buy everything with his face on it, and then on Redbubble, there's like 20 different versions of the shirt. And I was like, well, that's kind of, you know what? Tipsy just stole so much gold from Buzz the Leprechaun, he can afford to buy every shirt. So, I'm going to read everything that he bought, and then I will tell you how much it costs. So, he got a sticker, a glossy sticker, a transparent sticker, a magnet, a classic mug, tall mug, travel mug, water bottle, 4 coasters. Okay. An active t-shirt, a baseball 3/4 sleeve t-shirt, a classic t-shirt, a long sleeve t-shirt, a long t-shirt, a premium t-shirt, an essential t-shirt, a tri-blend t-shirt, a v-neck t-shirt, a fitted scoop t-shirt, a fitted t-shirt, a fitted v-neck t-shirt, premium scoop t-shirt, a relaxed fit t-shirt, a lightweight hoodie, a lightweight sweatshirt, a pullover hoodie, a pullover sweatshirt, a regular tank top, a racerback tank top, a zipped hoodie, and then a floor pillow, a throw pillow, a flat mask, a drawstring bag, an all-over print tote bag, a cotton tote bag, pin, dad hat, baseball cap, and Waddles the mouse pad. So, all of those things only costs $900.06. So, Tipsy forked up 9 whole gold, which is a lot. But then also he has 909 gold to begin with. And a platinum piece. Well, shoot. So, yeah, he can afford that. So, all of that is fun. And now, I guess that's into episode 34. So, with that, Toot-Toot kind of leans forward after leaning back to get one of the kobolds' attention, and then he's getting anxious. And after a couple hours of it's the pain and the pang of waiting. So it's all that energy for on-camera careers is very much hurry up and wait. So he is waiting for hours for either something really bad to happen or nothing happened, but he's kind of on his seat energy, and like he can feel his nerves like winding tighter, whereas Tipsy's passed out and Onyx is getting progressively more red in the face, in his cheeks and on his nose and his forehead. He's getting kind of hot. The rosacea wine drunk aesthetic. And Toot-Toot is also watching tax, shipping, and handling going around the tables of the yawning portal, hawking D&M merchandise to the various tables, and some are kind of interested and some are not interested at all, and then some are very interested because of some liquid courage. So Toot-Toot kind of feels weird about his face being on like t-shirts and stuff that they're trying to sell. Man, that's so meta. Well, it's not meta, but it's really interesting to see how like branding anyways bleeds back into the show. But Victor loves all the merchandise, so buy all the merchandise. And Toot-Toot's just he's getting restless. He's getting like a headache of just smelling all of the alcohol and very kind of rich comfort food all around, and keeping an eye on Bonnie, he's such an empath that he's watching the waitress run around, and like his lawful good instinct is to help, but is that really helping, or would that draw more attention? And then he looks over at Yagra Stonefist sitting, well, kind of standing and leaning up against the column of like the column leading to the second floor, in front of the Davil Starsong table where the not so cocky sun elf is making deals for the Zentirum, who that's an uncomfortable situation, but he looks over at Yagra, who like makes eye contact with him and like half winks and then keeps scanning the room. And Tipsy's passed out, and Waddles is just chewing on like a piece of toasted baguette sitting on Tipsy's table. And a person or two walk by the table and stare disbelievingly at the rat, and Toot-Toot goes, "No, he's a good rat." And then he looks down with the instinct to pet the rat, and it's like, "Nah, not yet. We are getting more familiar, Waddles, but not quite yet." And Toot-Toot starts rubbing his temple because Onyx is just getting kind of more obvious with him staring over at Yagra also. And it's just uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable energy in the room for Toot-Toot. And Toot-Toot finally, after like 3 or 4 hours, okay, this is not great for me. Should we go? And Onyx goes, "No, I'm having a great time." I know you are having a great time. I know Tipsy had a great time because he is right now face down on a table. But that's not a fun time for me. So, like, do we stay and wait for something or maybe nothing to happen? Or do we... And this damn party is in how many days? And we haven't come up with a better plan yet, but would it be too late to wait for my familial mortal enemies to come and hurt some of our friends? Oh. And you can see very much a la Davy Jones from Pirates of the Caribbean, Toot-Toot's trunk is kind of twitchy and like scratching itself and playing this game of it cannot find comfort or rest, so it's just kind of twisting and writhing around and like crawling up his face and scratching his eyebrow and coming down and like adjusting his collar, and there's a lot of business going on, and Toot-Toot's rubbing his face also, and then a short dwarven arm reaches across the table and kind of pats on Toot-Toot's mighty forearm. Hey. You're okay, alright? We're just having a lot of fun, and you're not having fun. So I got this. If you want to go do something else, I got it. Are you serious? That would be amazing. Yeah. I love this place. I love drinking. I love... And then he got his zones out. Onyx! What? Are you sure you got this? Yeah. I'm the toughest guy in the party. Hey, we're victorious, and we can have victories without all of us. So, you go. I'll beat up anyone that tries to hurt the people we're looking after, he says very nonchalantly. And yeah, okay. Should I take Tipsy back to home? You know what? No, he'll want to be here for this. But he's passed out. Yeah.
From when we've been here, I imagine that he hasn't been passed out in public from drinking a lot in a while, so let's let him have this, huh? Yeah, alright. Okay. Are you sure? Yes!
And then Onyx wrenches into his bag and pulls out the piglet tusk, this mighty carved drinking horn. Hold, please. Let's see. This drinking horn? That's like, if it was twice as big, then that's like a good curve to it. Or this drinking horn. If it had more curve to it, the size is pretty great. If these two had a baby, that's what Onyx just pulled out of his thing. Out of his backpack. So thank you again. Where the gods live, jewelry and horns. So, Onyx pulls out the drinking horn and then takes the giant tankard that he has had in front of him for the past couple hours and just transfers over the liquid to the horn. And then he goes, "We're victorious!" into the yawning portal, and then you hear just the intoxicated call and cry back of, "Yeah! Wait, what do you say? Oh, it doesn't matter, we're having fun, yeah!" And then he like foam and ale in his mustache and beard, just kind of crazed a little bit. It looks like, for barbarians, like a little foaming at the mouth, but he's and then he yells at Tipsy's just passed out form. And that's a good thing. Let's roll for that. An 8. an 8 versus a 7. Great. So I'm going to say this water bottle's still broken. You can buy a water bottle with any of these characters' faces on them, on the Convex Crimson. So, Onyx rolled a 8, Tipsy rolled a 7. Onyx, I would say also this is intimidation. So his intimidation is +6, so a 14 to Tipsy's 7, and let's just say there's a 0 modifier because it's Constitution or something. So Onyx, and then Tipsy,
Oh. Whoa. Look at all these cool things with my faces on them.
and then Toot-Toot bowing his head in appreciation towards this crazed Onyx, and Tipsy winding back up goes, "Thank you very much, Onyx." And then Onyx, with a brush stroke of sobriety, looks over and, and then just calls to the wild and feeds into the lively energy of the yawning portal. And Toot-Toot, now his social battery blinking red, then he pushes back, he gets up and heads towards the exit where he can still see tax, shipping, and handling trying to sell towards the front of the stage area, so they like traverse that whole way, and then looked over at Bonnie, who zooms by but sees that Toot-Toot's leaving and then does a "oh, everything's okay" kind of hand gesture. And Toot-Toot looks over at Durnan, who's just 3 people deep in the bar serving drinks and doesn't look up. And then Toot-Toot and then opens the door and then leaves and just starts walking. And already his very sensitive big elephant ears start cooling off because it was starting to get hot in there and he didn't even realize it. Which elephant ears actually, they wave because they are pushing cool air back to like the back of the neck and their back and stuff. So that's animal canon, baby. So then Toot-Toot like leaves, and this is fresh air, and there's not a lot of people. Like, it's still the second day of Fleet's Wake, so the streets, there are people out there, but it's not the college town bar that he just escaped from. And he can feel his nerves start to loosen and his shoulders lower. Oh. And he's just standing in the stiller air of the street, and he catches a couple people walking down the street, and his eyes catch them, and he remembers that he likes people watching. So this is actually really, really nice of like a group of late teen girls mixed with like elves and humans, and one boisterous dwarf walking down giggling profusely to themselves, and like an old couple walking up, let's say an old gnome couple, one with a cane, and both of them are like have similar graying haircuts, so they look like a couple that's been together for quite a while, and they take their time walking up the streets, and both of them have pleasant smiles on their faces, and are people watching themselves, and look up at Toot-Toot, and there's just a sweet, sincere eye contact and grins as they pass. And now Toot-Toot starts to feel a lot better. But if this is D&M movie, then you see as they pass, then the gnome couple, the elderly gnome couple, are walking up the street, and then we cut in closer to Toot-Toot, and then we have an insert of the gnomes holding hands, and then back to Toot-Toot, and his face softens a little bit. His smile fades just a hair. But he straightens up, and his now I can't say flaccid trunk, but his now relaxed trunk, not squirming anymore, just takes this great bellow breath of air, and it's fresh and sweet, just a tinge of cold still from the wintry last week, but spring is pretty much here, and Toot-Toot feels a lot better. Toot-Toot's a bit of a, just like Victor, an introverted exhibitionist, so he can perform, but his introverted social battery was overwhelmed, just like me in these past 2 weeks here. But then he decides just to head north, kind of walking home, but not. He's more enjoying the walk than heading directly home. Like, when he gets to his block, he's not going to head into the Tipsy's Tavern. But he's heading up north, and he just kind of showmanship stops in his tracks, and then lets his weight fall forward, and then straightens up, and he goes, you know what? I'm going to do this instead. So he will kind of look around, and sure enough, he can see towering above buildings, kind of, if you've ever been to New York City or any like big urban metropolis, then if you know a landmark, then you can spot it above the crowns of the skyscrapers, like the Empire State Building or the Chrysler Building. Are those? Yeah. So here, golly, this is a big old map, huh? Where's the ding dang yawning portal? Oh, I can show y'all too. Where's the yawning portal? Oh, wow, it's down there. Oh, well, sure. Okay. Poppy, if you are still around, I have not listened to episode 11 in quite a while, and you just edited it for the podcast. So let me know what walking statue Volo first presented, if you're still around. No worries if not. So, yeah, let me throw up Waterdeep map. And let's scoot it down here. The yawning portal is down here in the castle word. And get that D&Me arrow going. Wrong button. Wrong lever! The yawning portal's right there, and so he was kind of walking up. And I will say that, just a nice walk upwards a couple blocks, and then he stops, and then he looks around. And he sees this colossal... he doesn't remember. Well, that's okay, because I don't either. This is good for a story anyways. So he looks around, and then he sees this colossal avian head poking above the... poking above the skyline, and it's giant and stone, and he goes, you know what? I'm gonna head over that way. And so he starts heading westward to see the following, which I totally had prepared. All right. So, let me fold up this map because it's very big. So he goes over, and what he sees in, well, butts, I just put up the map, but in these kind of aisles of, come on, in these kind of aisles of big buildings, and here's a siren. Hold, please. Toot 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 toot. Oh, that was kind of the girl from Ipanema, but it turned into I love you, baby, and if it's quite all right, my pretty baby, to warm the lonely night, I love you, darling. Okay. Also, with this new mic, my headphones aren't plugged into it, so I can't really hear myself or the soundscape that I'm streaming right now. So that's a little new, but I just have them on just as a comfort thing. So, as he walks, then kind of in video game reveal, the camera passes one building in the foreground, and then what is the camera movement? Nope, that's maps. That's coins, inventory, magic. Kind of trucks over to the side and pans to see a statue that looks like a winged, hawk-headed being, and thus locals call it the Hawkman. Here's what Volo says of it. Volo them. I can reveal, in fact, that it bears much resemblance to an Aarakocra. And the voice starts to morph into Toot-Toot, who is reading this off of a placard at the bottom of the statue itself. One of the bird people said to live in the star mounts in the high forest. The statue's wings are folded tightly against its back and have never unfurled, leaving its flight capability uncertain. It was brought low during its rampage across the city and now tilts decidedly towards the northeast due to a missing right foot, long ago broken up for building rubble along with its right arm. Its left arm is extended out toward the north, palm forward, as if in a gesture to say stop. The body has been hollowed out and turned into a tower shared by several wealthy tenants, which is officially known as Sparrunt Tower, after its owner. The statue's left hand extends over a courtyard to the north, wherein lies the entrance of a tunnel carved through the arm. Visitors and residents can ring a bell in the courtyard, whereupon a door guard acknowledges the ringer and lowers a rope ladder for tenants and expected guests, or a rope chair that is drawn up for guests who are infirm or laden with heavy items. Interesting. So, hey, Exiled Ender, subscribe with Prime. Thank you so much, Exiled Ender. That's amazing. Thank you. Well, at this then, as we see Toot-Toot, golly, I just took a motion capture workshop this past Saturday, and now everything is just hyper focused in video game. So then Toot-Toot, like, you can see him emerging from reading the, like, placard there, and he looks back up, and then the camera cuts to, like, this really big, wide aerial view of around the Hawkman, and underneath is this kind of badge that says, "Ba-doom, the walking statues, 1 out of 8. Because I love collecting shit, especially in video games. That's one of my favorites. So, yeah, we're going to hopefully throughout D&Me visit all of the walking statues, because that'll be great. So, he's right there and he's staring up at this walking statue called the Hawkman. And the walking statue itself is a gargantuan construct. And it's very, very, very big. And Toot-Toot is just noticing its huge... Stop. Just humongous physique, just towering over everything else, dwarfing the various homes and residents nearby. And Toot-Toot is, like, admiring the detail work in just the claws, these giant, like, talons that are 10,000 times bigger than the Cobalt's talons that he was just interacting with earlier. And he's trying to figure out if they're carved, and then he remembers that Volo said that these are actual, like, guardians, and Toot-Toot can't remember, even though he has a Loxodon memory, which I'm not gonna say it's like elephants never forget, because Victor certainly does. So he doesn't remember if Volo said that these were actual, like, guardians, that these huge giants that turn into stone, or they were stone already and they're just walking statues, like statues that were walking around protecting the city. But he's kind of there looking up in awe, and he hears, "Well, I don't know, go ask him."
Okay.
And then some apprehensive feet kind of pod their way up.
Excuse me, sir?
oh, and then Toot-Toot is kind of snaps out of his just staring at the statue, and he looks down.
Hi, why are your horns like that?
Oh, well, hello, little one. And he looks down at this 6-year-old. Let's see, what's a fun race I haven't really played around with? Okay, cool. This little 6-year-old boy whose hair is kind of seaweed-esque, and as he comes and walks and stops at the base of Toot-Toot, which is at the base of the walking statue, then his hair flows a little bit, and there's just this, almost as if you're looking through a lens of a camera that was spritzed with water on the outside. So there's this dewy form all over this young child with a blue tint to the skin, and then you can see his mother keep pace behind him, and Toot-Toot goes, "Oh, hello, little one." And then he looks up at the mom, and the mom is letting the kid take the lead, but her hands are on his wet shoulders, and kind of like, this is a good teaching moment. So the mom is letting the kid talk to a stranger, but with her supervision. So he goes, "Oh, these horns? Well, they are actually, they are tusks. And I was born with them, and then they grew as I got older. Once I was as small as you are, young sir. And as they grew out, then in my, where I come from, my family, our tribe, our herd, would carve into them. So we take little knives with parental supervision," and then he looks purposefully up at the mom, who then smiles and squeezes her kid's shoulders a little bit, with adult supervision. But we would take these little knives and carve into them, and a lot of my family have geometric patterns, so just a lot of repeating shapes like squares and triangles, and then others have a scene perhaps of an event that happened, and they just want to remember it, so they would carve. And then we have, my father is a healer, so he actually has various vines and flowers and herbs carved into his tusks, and they're quite lovely. So mine, when I decided to explore the world a little bit, then mine are actually instruments. Do you like music?
Yeah, there was one song that my friend would sing, and it's "Baby, my dad do 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 do, baby, my dad do 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 do," and then the mom goes, okay, wow, oh, you do remember that song. And then Toot-Toot, "Oh, yes. Uh-huh. Right. So, well," bloop. I'll just put a little Easter egg right here. Just right here on the thing. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I'll just do an Easter egg real quick. Oh, dear. All right. Okay, well, it's orange. There it is. So I'll just put that right here. That doesn't look like anything. Oh, well. Yeah, that looks like crap. So, I'll just hold it. Okay, so, no. I'll put it aside. It was cute. So, what instruments did Toot-Toot have? So, Toot-Toot goes, "Oh yeah, that song. I've heard it once or twice. Anyways, so look at my face." And then he points over to his right one, and he goes, "Okay." So Toot-Toot then
takes out this little wooden stick with a little rubber ball at the end and goes, "Here you go. Now, lightly, please. If that's okay with your mom." And then he looks up at the mother, and she, like, yeah, it's fine. Go ahead, but gently, okay?
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
So then, Toot-Toot hands over this little wooden mallet, and then on the outer side of Toot-Toot's, Poppy, what is that? So I remember in anatomy class, no one can forget that song. Nice Easter egg. Poppy, anatomically speaking, what is like the outside coming in on the body? Like if you're talking about the very rightmost and then going in towards the body, is that like lateral or something? I remember that from anatomy class in high school. But on his outer right side of his tusk are these little rectangles that are suspended with like some rubber bands or something, but they're like ascending size. So he goes, now if you carefully just hit these, then they make a sound. So very xylophone. Then the kid, plink, 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 plink.
Wow.
Yes, so that's like a little xylophone, or other words for it, proximal, next to the body. There we go. Yeah, proximal. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's okay. So, plink, 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 distal at the end of a limb. Next, distal. Okay. Yeah, then you can describe what it does. Proximal work with the outside of the right side of the tusk, which I'm talking about, because I don't remember if that's right. Well, I'm sure it's right because you're saying it, but I don't know if it in my head. Shoulder is proximal. Okay. Yeah, then. Yeah. So blink, 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 and then Toot-Toot goes, okay. Now on the inside, hand is distal. Okay. Well, what about cheek? Because that's kind of the outside of. It doesn't matter. So on the inside of the right tusk, then he goes, okay, now with the other end, point of the tusk is distal. Yeah, but the side of it. Proximal, probably. Yeah. So on the inside, then he goes, you flip the mallet over, and then with the wooden rod, the stick, you go, and it's that wooden frog noise on the inside of the tusk. And then the kid delights in rubbing the stick back and forth. Yes. Oh, okay. You are very enthusiastic. You might be a bard yourself one day. And then he looks up at the mom, and the mom's like, and then on this side, if you could give me the little wooden mallet bat, thank you. So this tusk is a wind instrument because we use wind to make the instrument make the noise. So this one, and he puts his trunk on the top of the left tusk, and on the outside, on the left proximal side of the trunk, the tusk, then Toot-Toot lines up his fingers, and then with air coming out of his trunk into the tusk, then a beautiful flute noise, and then the kid this like wet clapping noise, and then with this actually a couple strangers admiring the Hawkman or just walking down the street stop and pause and take a look at this very sweet interaction with a child. And then Toot-Toot goes, you like that? Well, here's a piccolo. And so then he moves his fingers to the inside of the left tusk, and then the kid and then the mom is like impressed. Oh, okay, yeah. And then he goes, yes, well, those are my tusks, but because I am a bard, he presents out to the street. then I have other musical instruments. Would you care to see? Do you have time? He looks up at the mom. Do you have time to stay around and look at the instruments? And then she says, well, we have a little bit of time, yeah. Would you like that, Jorge?
Yes, please. Can we watch it some more?
Okay. All right, Jorge. Then this... he pulls out from his inventory this long cylinder, this long tube that is carved in kind of aborigine designs and painted with splashes of a whole bunch of bright colors. And then he goes, this is a didgeridoo. This is Anderson's didgeridoo. I got it from two very nice brothers, and I was helping them with a project. So then he puts the didgeridoo to his mouth, and then his trunk wraps around it to hold it in place, and then with no hands, and he which is my very excellent didgeridoo impression. When we edit the podcast, then we could put in an actual didgeridoo. Some people go, whoa, yeah. And then more delight, and then some claps actually happen around from people watching, and Toot-Toot goes, oh my, hello. And then, now that he has a crowd starting, so the crowd is starting with a 13, Toot-Toot roll of 13 plus 8 performance, so with a 21, then with his didgeridooing, then as he does the didgeridoo, then Jorge is like kind of splashing around as if he's jumping in puddles, but there are no puddles. And some people are just clapping to the tune, and he goes, yes, that's amazing. I haven't played that in a while, and here's another one I haven't played in a while. And then he pulls out this from his inventory, this 3-necked race car red shiny 3-necked lute, and he kind of tunes it a little bit, and he goes, all right, and this beautiful majestic instrument is called the the committed relationship. And then he looks up at the mom, who's kind of squinting her eyes a little bit, knowing that this instrument is not called the committed relationship. And he goes, so we're just going to... And then he plays an 8 and a 16. It is at disadvantage because he's not proficient in strings yet. Oh, right, it's the lute. Yeah, you caught it, Mom, just 90 seconds before I made the joke. So with an 8 plus an 8 performance, because it's at disadvantage because he doesn't have proficiency in string instruments, then he plays it, and with a 16, it's still pretty good, like he's learning. And I want to do a mechanic about gaining proficiency here in a bit, and I'll talk about it at the end of the scene. But then he starts plucking, and he's actually getting pretty good at it. Not great at it yet, but he's going from one neck to another, and like is switching it up, and is like doing an overhand, and that one doesn't really quite work, so he goes to the middle one and the lower one, and then more people are gathering around, and Toot-Toot is kind of filling up with the performing energy, and like this is a good attentive crowd instead of the fucking chaos that the yawning portal is. Like this he has under control a little bit. And he goes, all right, and my last instrument. Then he puts that away, and then he brings out something we haven't seen at D&Me. It's this loose bag with a couple rods sticking out of it. And he goes, I haven't played this in a while, but here we go. And so he brings out a bagpipe, which Victor has never played as Toot-Toot before. I have it written down that when he does like some vicious mockery, then he'll use the bagpipes, but he's never used the bagpipes before, so he has it because he's showing off all his instruments. And this one will have advantage in performance. That's a 6. Oh no. Oh, but that, ladies and gentlemen, is a natural 20. So, with this just one-man orchestra, then Toot-Toot. And then, like, at first it's just jarring because bagpipes in person, like, in any proximity that's less than 300 feet away, less than 300 feet away, then they're just like, ugh. But there is musicality to it, and he has different tones, and he's coloring and flavoring this. It's gorgeous, actually, and he goes from, like, a couple poppy, like, upbeat things to, like, this kind of slow classical melody, and then he ends with and then Jorge's like jumping another one, and then like a couple parents in the crowd are going, oh, we know this one too. Because speaking of remove curse, then Toot-Toot might have launched a viral earworm here in Waterdeep. And then with all of that, then like with one mighty squawk, then Toot-Toot finishes with the bagpipes, and then and then he like bows, and people are really clapping. He's got maybe an interested 50 people surrounding. Well, no, even more than that, because it was a natural 20, and this is part of a holiday, so maybe like 100 people around him, and there's like someone brings up this little empty, really cheap wooden tankard that's like a walk away from one of the bars around, and they're starting like to get some donations, and like, yeah, passing the hat for tips, and Toot-Toot, oh, well that's very generous, thank you very much, I'm just here for the music and for the future generation. And he bows grandly, like the trunk curls in on itself as like another appendage, as he bows to Jorge the Water Genasi and his mother. And then as he bows, then there's like this little clink, 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 this tinkle sound underneath Toot-Toot's head, and then Jorge, who's kind of blushing and doing the ow, as he's enjoying some of the applause also, then he looks down at Toot-Toot's neck and goes, well, what's that too? What's that instrument? And then Toot-Toot looks down. Oh, at the lilac pan flute on a necklace around his neck, and he goes, well, this is actually very important and very meaningful. This is a pan flute from a very good friend. So, and then Jorge asks, are you gonna play that one too? Not right now, but I might soon. So, thank you very much. This is lovely. And then, after passing around the red solo cup of a tankard, then Toot-Toot will get some money. Let's see. How much money? How much monies? So 47. He gets 47 silver. And he goes, oh, but this is very generous. Thank you very much. 47 silver for instruments. So he just humbly accepts the tankard. Thank you. I appreciate it, everyone. In fact, if you are interested in some more entertainment, well, I occasionally go over to the Yawning Portal, of course, which everyone knows. But
I am part owner of a new location up in the North Ward called Tipsy's Tavern, and we're gonna open soon, but there will be plenty of great music there. And that, little sir, is where you and your mother come around, and I will play this pan flute for you there. But I still need a little bit of time. And then he winks at Jorge, and Jorge nods understandingly, even though he doesn't know really what that means. And then the mom straightens up. Oh, thank you so much. We're trying to teach him to be a little bit more outgoing, so this was fabulous. Thank you very much. What is your name? I, madam, am Toot-Toot the Loxodon Bard. And yourself? And she goes, my name is Aquafina. So he goes, well, delightful to meet you both, Aquafina and Jorge. Is there a better water joke for little Jorge? Water. Ooh, I want to change it to Walter. It's Jorge Walter. Jorge Walter Water Genasi last name. There we go. So, then Aquafina goes, all right, let's go, Jorge Walter. And so then they start leaving, and then Toot-Toot. And then Toot-Toot just gets a sense of accomplishment and looking up at the Hawkman, and then looking again. It's a close shot of Toot-Toot, and then as Aquafina and Jorge Walter are walking away, then Jorge hugs her leg really tightly, just in parental appreciation.
Thank you for that was really cool. Can we get an instrument?
And then Aquafina, well, we'll talk about it with your mother. And then Toot-Toot, it cuts back to Toot-Toot, and he disengages eye contact and looks down at the Hawkman's talon, I guess, because one of them is missing. And then he looks up at the crowd and kind of just scans around, people watching again. And with an 18 plus 3 for perception, 21, then as he's staring through the crowd, he sees two things with a 21. He sees his mind is kind of scattered again, but not is not sporadic and chaotically scattered. He's just going from thought to thought, and a couple thoughts enter his mind as he's people watching. Then he remembers when he was up in the C word, and he was looking for signs of circumstance, and so he remembers this flash of patches of green and orange and red and yellow walking by. And as he's scanning through the crowd, dispersing the 100 people, then he also sees, he doesn't see those colors, but as he's just looking through the crowd, remembering that he was seeing colors, then he sees a familiar sight from Revelton. One of the last things he saw before he got transported over to Waterdeep was in the crowd. He saw this eerily familiar slender figure, a very sharp face, dark purple skin, straight, stark white hair. not ambidextrous because that's hands, but androgynous. There it is. It's a similar androgynous face, but slightly more masculine, a squarer jaw than the face that he sees pretty much every night as he goes to sleep. And this face, he sees it for half a second, and then it turns around and walks away. And Toot-Toot, hold on. And then Toot-Toot starts going through the crowd and kind of, trying to look after the drow disappearing into the crowd, and Toot-Toot tries to go a little bit faster. Oh boy. And with a 10 and a 13, Toot-Toot got that 13. Then he gains a little bit on the drow gentleman leaving, and he goes, excuse me, sir, why are you, sir? And then you can see with a little bit of fear splashed into his face. Then the drow gentleman looks back, and with a 4 and a 4, oh boy. Then Toot-Toot goes, Zawafin. And the drow pauses for just a second and snaps his neck back to Toot-Toot. And then Toot-Toot looks wholly expectantly, and you can feel his whole body tense up. And with a 17 and a 17, they both rolled. Oh my gosh. And so then both of them have frozen in the streets, and Toot-Toot, like, expecting this is a different waiting than in the Yawning Portal, but like his ears are rigid because he is trying to pick up any sound coming off of this drow guy who's also frozen in his place. And then Toot-Toot reaches up, like, slowly, purposefully, to his pan flute around his neck. And then the drow, like, blinks once, blinks twice, and then there's this, like, green flame wisping from the corners. Like, upon opening his eyes the third time, then his eyes are completely emerald. And there's, like, this smoke flame wisping up from the corners of his eyes. And then Toot-Toot goes, no. And then Toot-Toot rushes forward. Fascinating. Toot-Toot got a 10. This other figure got a 7. Then Toot-Toot gets right up close to this drow guy, and he goes, oh boy, then Toot-Toot goes, both, oh boy. All right, so Toot-Toot's internal struggle right now is this lethal, mortifying fear washing over him like a tidal wave now, in seeing those familiar eyes, but also this, okay, this, stop, loud car, this super deep, unfillable well of anguish and loss that is now just receiving some water to quench its thirst. And Toot-Toot goes up to this drow like a foot away and says, "Do you know what happened?" And then this drow goes, "What happens? What happens?" Okay. God damn it, really? Toot-Toot rolled a 6, the drow rolled a 2, and then Toot-Toot grasps onto his shoulders, which are very lithe and sharp shoulders. "Do you know what happened to her?" And then the drow goes, "No. But I know what's gonna happen." And then Toot-Toot feels this sharp pain in his gut, and he looks down, and there is a knife sticking out of his torso. And then Toot-Toot gasps, and then he looks up, and the character is like unnaturally 80 feet away already. And then Toot-Toot, and you hear a gasp coming out of like this shrill shriek from someone walking by. "You got stabbed!" And then they go over, and then Toot-Toot kind of like his head is swimming, and then he teeters, and then his vision darkens, and then you just hear a mighty and that 0% did I think that was gonna happen. So I'm gonna call an intermission right now. But holy crap. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna call an intermission. So, gazooks. Enjoy an intermission as I get water and use the restroom. So here we go.
So Victor went off to intermission and says that I have a minute to talk to you all. What is your favorite weapon? And how hard do you hit stuff with it? Not really that funny. This is like the 5th or 6th take that I did. But Onyx, okay. Oh, I could show all my bones. Oh, my minute's up. All right. Bye.
Hi, I'm Victor Rivera. This is D&Me, where I play with myself. I play D&D with myself. This is an actual play show 5th edition where I DM and play 4 characters of campaigns past. Hi, I'm Tipsy the Forest Gnome Rogue. We stream Wednesday nights on Twitch, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we throw the video up on YouTube Thursday mornings. And I have a rat named Waddles. He's cute.
I'm Onyx the Dwarf Barbarian. We do other stuff.
I'm Rock the Half-Orc Wizard. We do D& Artistry and Artstream on Tuesday nights, and D&Me'd Like to Drink one Monday a month, where we grab a glass of something good and chat about how D&Me's going, answering audience questions, but mostly going on tipsy tangents. That's me!
And I am Toot-Toot the Loxodon Bard.
If you want to catch up with the current campaign, listen to the first episodes in their edited podcast form, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, and others. And if you want to catch up even quicker, watch D&Recaps, where we summarize 5 episodes of D&Me at a time. And we also have D&Me Extras, which are fun little behind-the-scene videos. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a bunch of other places where? On our link tree, that's linktr.ee/DNMeAdventures, and like gnome. Thanks!
We're so professional.
Yeah, amazing. That whole intermission, I was just like, So, you hear the sirens? That's for Toot-Toot. As True Jack rightfully says in the chat, knife crime, which would be a fun episode title. However, that's a little spoilery. Dodie or something in the chat says, holy shit! Yeah! Great. So, after... this is, again, a very different auditory experience, because I still have the headsets on, but it's a completely different soundscape. We follow Rock as he exits the Seven Masks Theater into the fresh, newly evening air. And he looks around, and he has a little bit of a pounding headache also, but that's just from fatigue and spending the last pretty much the whole day learning Remove Curse from Sheen. And he goes, well, I have now the whole evening to myself. What do I want to do? And then he finds himself, he looks down, and his feet are already walking in the direction back towards the Tipsy Tavern and the Troll Skull Alley, which is the block where the Troll Skull Manor is. And he's still running through the lessons and the tidbits and the educational bits that Sheen went through, the imagery stories, the points made, the overall lesson plan of Remove Curse, but then also how to be a better person, because Sheen is one of those true educators where he just doesn't teach you the subject. He teaches you how it's relevant, how to grow as an individual. So Rock is really impressed with his teaching style and wants to go back a whole lot more. But for now, he finds his feet have taken him to a large bank of windows where there's candles lit inside for a darkening evening, and he is in front of Bookworm's Treasure. And he is staring in the window at the counter, and he sees the treasure of Bookworm's Treasure, a short, stout bronze dragonborn helping a couple people check out. They have a stack of books, and there's an exchange of coins, and then as they head out the door, then the door opens, you hear the cling, 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 and then Rock steps a little bit to the side to let them pass, and then Paige, the wordsmith, looks up, and her face brightens and widens into a great sharp-toothed grin, and she excitedly waves at Rock through the door, and then Rock gathers up some courage and steps in, and then he walks into a very peaceful, quiet bookstore, and he goes straight up to the counter, and he goes, Paige the wordsmith,
may I treat you to a romantic evening? If you would allow me. And then Paige, that's very generous. Let me roll just to see if I can or not. 19. Yeah. The number in my head was 6 or better. So a 19. And then Paige goes, definitely yes. May I ask what inspired this chivalrous opportunity arisen? And then Rock goes, well, I was being taught by an extraordinary being, and one of his little takeaways was that I need to work a little bit more on confidence in myself. And that, I think, boils down to I've enjoyed spending a lot of time with you and our learning excursions, and I would like to show my appreciation and admiration towards you and for food. Good. Because Rock in this adventure has grown into a stammerer, and when he gets flustered, then he trips over his words. So a takeaway of Sheen's work a little bit more on confidence in yourself is practicing straightforwardness. Dodie or something in chat says, a romantic evening, 19 pages, happy to go out. Yes. So Paige goes, let me see if I have any customers. I don't think so, but I just want to make sure. So then she like bashfully lowers her head and kind of scuttles out behind the counter and goes to check the aisles. And then Rock, as soon as she gets out of eyesight, then he kind of gets super lightheaded, having just done this very brave thing and having it received so well. And then after like three minutes, then Paige scuttles back and goes, I actually have a photographic memory, and I remember that there is actually no one here, but I just wanted to, I'm just... And then Rock also, yes, I am very excited, and I had hoped you would be as excited as I, because you are just amazing. So, where to eat? Where eat? And then Paige goes, well, if I may be so bold, there is a new eatery that I heard opening, and I think I've heard my girlfriends say that they really enjoyed it, and perhaps we would go there. I don't really know that much about it. And then Rock goes, yes, that sounds very good for food eating. And then both of them are now violently not making eye contact with each other and are looking at every other item in this book store. And Paige closes up quickly, and she like turns down the continual flame candles and locks up the store. And then she goes, okay, it is actually this way. And she leads the way to so she leads the way, and then both of them are not making eye contact. But on the way up, then she's so this is a truly unique dining experience, I've heard again from my friends, and they said that it is a meal like no other. So I don't really know what that means, but I'm hoping that means excellent food and service. And Rock goes, yes, Quite. How was your day? Oh, my day's always really good. I worked, and I read a little bit of a book. Oh yes? Tell me about that book. And so then Paige fills, like, you can feel the, okay, good. We are talking about books. And the ice has been broken, and Paige recalls this tome of short stories that range from like a romantic little, very cheesy tryst to some rather interesting fantasy kind of sci-fi almost, of like different views on magic, little fictional tales. And Rock says, well, I normally appreciate nonfiction, but the way you're painting this fiction, I do admire a fantastically written, well-versed fiction. So I might have to borrow this book. And then Paige goes, you have plenty of books. And Rock goes, I can never have too many books, my dear. And they find themselves in front of this restaurant. Paige goes, and here it is. The voices are very similar, and I can't hear them, which I'm sure they're fine. So they find themselves in front of a dimly lit restaurant that looks pretty fancy, and on the outside is a store sign that says Cherub's Eloquence. And Rock looks at it and goes, Cherub's Eloquence, that's quite a title. And Paige goes, yes. May I? And so she heads towards the door, and Rock goes, no, please let me. And then he opens the door for her, and they both walk in. And then, let me see how this do. Oh my gosh, this might be great. Okay. This is going to be fun. So, they enter in and they see pretty fancy tables and very nice tablecloths and well-dressed people. And then Rock kind of pats down his front and adjusts his very large, unseemly saddle that's hanging from his neck. And he feels a little out of place, but he kind of straightens his robe up and smooths out any creases. And he can see in the corner of his eyes that Paige is also like dusting off her shoulders and brushing off the teal sand that gathers up because of Paige being a bronze dragonborn. And at this front podium, is that what it's called? Like a little kiosk thing? This stand, I guess, I don't know, is this is this treasure chest standing on this like square podium. And as they both get closer, then the chest itself opens up and says, "Good evening, and welcome to Cherub's Eloquence. Please wait here in order to be seated." And then Rock goes, "Oh, yes, he will." Amazing. I just remember, yeah. So he will cast Identify, level 1 spell, which he would normally do it ritually, but that's 10 minutes, so he'll just cast it right now.
and he reaches over to the treasure chest and he touches the side, and in his pocket he rubs a pearl worth at least 100 gold pieces and an owl feather, and then he goes, "Oh, well, this is a cute little puppet. It is actually the spell Magic Mouth is amusingly cast upon it." And then the treasure chest like snaps, and Rock, oh, I'm so sorry. Do we wait here? Welcome to the Cherub's Eloquence. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because the Magic Mouth, you implant a message within an object in range, and a message that is uttered when a trigger condition is met, so perhaps us walking into the restaurant. Choose an object that you see and that isn't being worn or carried by another creature. Then speak the message, which must be 25 words or less. Oh, man. All right. So, Victor, watching this tomorrow, see if those were 25 words or less. Though it can be delivered over as long as 10 minutes, finally determine the circumstances that would... Okay. Well. And its duration is until welcome to the Cherub's Eloquence. And then Rock goes, "Oh, so it's just on a loop, I see." And then he kind of steps back and then waits with Paige kind of awkwardly, as you can hear just the clink of silverware on dishes and drinks being had and some mild conversation. And then up flutters this little form who is hovering in the air, flapping some tiny wings, and it is a small babe with a little black bow tie around its neck and some cuffs, some white cuffs with some cufflinks, and it flutters up, and then it's sucking its thumb, very much like Smalls from the Steam and Steel, and it is pushing a cart in front of it with a large silver platter on it with another treasure chest, and it says, "Please follow me to your table." And so then Rock and Paige are just, "What?" And then they follow this babe who like flutters and pushes the cart and is leading them to an empty table. And then now you can see around all of the waitstaff are these little babies. And as they're being seated, then the baby sucking its thumb like bends over, kind of teeters in midair to the table, and then grabs one of the napkins that's folded up quite nicely, origami on the plate, and then it grabs a corner and then just flails about, just, and then drops it unceremoniously on Rock's lap, and then grabs the other one, I guess in Paige's lap first, and then throws the napkin into Rock's lap, and then both of them are kind of stunned. And then the baby like takes its thumb out of its mouth and then stares at both of them with like this growing toothless grin. And then Paige and Rock are pretty stunned, like they don't know what's happening. And then the baby laughs, then grabs the cart, and then flies away. And then Rock leans forward pretty quickly. "Paige, I don't know what's happening, but I don't know if No, it'll be fine, hopefully." And then as you're looking around, then you see some other babes pushing carts, and one of them's just kind of floating upside down, and one of them is serving up this platter to a table next to them where it's like the salad portion,
and the kid is like grabbing the salad with both hands and kind of throwing the lettuce up in the air and some of the carrots, and like it's and then takes like a cut up carrot and just puts it in its mouth and starts suckling on it. And then Paige is now looking across the table, mortified at Rock, and Rock goes, "I don't know what's happening." And then the baby waiter comes back and kind of, as if from a high chair, just shoves 2 menus at Paige and Rock. And, you know, being a fancy restaurant, they have maybe like 5 entrees, the special that night. And then they hastily order something. And then the kid goes away. Yeah, if you can imagine, well, so after a little bit of, after a little waiting and just like stunned, shocked awe, then their salad comes out and the baby waiter is a little bit more composed than the other one, and like kind of shoulder checks a bowl of salad at Paige and then Rock. And so then they both are just eating, kind of staring side-eyed at the baby who's like staring at them, sucking the thumb. And then they eat it, and then Paige goes, "Oh, well, this is actually really good. Yes, this is a magnificent salad. Thank you." And then the baby like nods and then floats sideways off screen. And then I said the wrong, like bubbles for the Steam and Steel. And then a couple highlights of the dinner are that at one point, like the appetizer comes out after the salad, and there are these little like pastry puff quiche things, and so then the baby grabs one and then holds it out to Paige's face and then stops sucking on the thumb and then kind of mouths a as if like, okay, now open your mouth, here comes the plane, here comes the airplane, which is very cute. And then Paige and then she bites into it apprehensively, this like spinach puff, and she like her eyes brighten. "Wow, this is very tasty," she says, like kind of taking the rest of the bite of the spinach puff, and then continues eating it. And then Rock, staring kind of in disbelief as the airplane putters towards him, and then he takes a bite. "Oh, it melts in my mouth and it's so flaky. I know, right? It's incredible." And so then they're eating. At one point, like the salmon comes out and it has broccoli and mashed potatoes or whatever you have for fancy meals. And at one point, Paige drops her fork, and then the baby like zooms away and then comes back suckling on the end of a fork, and then hands it over to Paige, and Paige is like, "Oh, well, thank you." And then like the food is absolutely delicious, and it's bonkers, really. And while they're finishing up right before dessert, then Rock goes, "This is actually absolutely bizarre, but this is like one of those eating experiences where you eat in complete darkness, and you let the flavors and your other senses heighten. And then pages go, what if you have dark vision? And he goes, I know, but I was trying to figure out the same thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. And let's see. Any other fun things I have? I have truly unique dining experience. Eating in total darkness. What if you have dark vision? Exactly. Floating babies. Distinguished gentlemen like Jack from The Incredibles. But then some drifting upside down like Bubbles, sucking on spoons, offering to feed the patrons via airplane. Fat little baby fists feeding them Cheerios. Stuff like that. And then at the end, with a... That doesn't... at the end with like this really fancy chocolate mousse, then Rock gets a little chocolate on his cheek, and then the baby comes up with a wet wipe and like puckers, and then takes the wet wipe and like licks it and then rubs it on the face. And then it was just a whole bizarre dining experience. And then at the end, the cart comes around, and on it there's the treasure chest that opens, and then it says some amount of gold or coin or whatever. Let's say, what's a fancy dinner? Haha, opposite Mom's Pit. Exactly. How much does one spend for like a fancy dinner? Let's say $50. Let's say, yeah, well, let's say like $45 each. So $45 for Cherub's Eloquence. So then the treasure chest opens up and says, that'll be 45 silver. And it just opens up, and then Rock and Paige kind of dig through their coin purse and deposit that into the treasure chest, and then gets wheeled away. And the evening ends for them of them leaving, and the baby waiter sucking its thumb and doing like the curling in fist waving goodbye as they exit. And then in between all of that bizarreness, then Paige and Rock have like a very good evening of conversation and talking about books and life and the pursuit of happiness and stuff. And as they're walking down one of the streets for returning back to their block, then Rock says, Rock kind of talks to Paige a lot about the goings on of their missions and quests without giving away, well, she knows about the doppelgangers, but without giving away too much pertinent information of like sensitive material, like saying names that shouldn't be said out loud or whatever. And as they're walking down the street, then Rock goes, well, so one of the doppelganger shapeshifters that I was telling you about earlier was teaching me some magic, and then I chose Remove Curse because of the were-rats that I did tell you about earlier when we were going through the monster manual and learning about lycanthropy. So I learned Remove Curse, and then Paige kind of, there's an inhale of air, and Rock looks over, and Paige is, that is really sweet. That's very chivalrous. Thank you. You passed up all sorts of amazing magics to help your friends and his friends. So that's incredible. And then Rock, yes, thank you. I appreciate that. I knew I would feel best about myself doing this. And there's always time. He leans in to Paige. Always time to learn new spells. So, again, yes. But I was thinking of enchanting an item or crafting a magic item. And then Paige pipes up. Is that the right word? And she goes, well, actually, I know quite a bit about this. So, crafting a magic item from the Dungeon Master's Guide, one would need to know what they are crafting. So you were saying like an amulet of curse removal or a medallion. Well, you need to know how to make the item, but then also, depending on the item rarity, then if it's a common item, then it will cost less gold and time, because crafting and enchanting a magic item is quite costly in both time and expense. So if you're talking about a common or uncommon item, like a medallion or amulet, then it might be 100 to 500 gold pieces, and it's a minimum level of third spell. So you will need to... You're saying that you don't know, besides Remove Curse, you can't cast third level spells, correct? And Rock goes, yes, right now I only know first and second levels, but I'm getting there. I'm still learning. So third level minimum. Paige chimes in. Well, also there might be required special materials or locations to create. For example, a character might need alchemist supplies to brew a particular potion, or the formula for a flame tongue might require that the weapon be forged with lava. And from my understanding, you have to contribute 8 hours a day and 25 gold pieces a day in order to get to a certain condition. So I think what you're talking about is uncommon items, 500 gold pieces, third level, and you need to spend the third level spell in order to enchant it. But other characters can combine their efforts to create a magic item if each of them meets the level requirement. Remove Curse, I'm afraid, is not on the Sorcerer's spell list, so unless there's a lot of teaching being done, then I might not be able to help. I'm not sure if it's in the Bard spell list for Toot-Toot, but I imagine maybe not so much. But I have just thought of this in the moment. Tipsy, you were saying earlier, is a rogue and is a... What's his special rogue? He has a... Oh, yeah. As the roguish archetype, his is Arcane Trickster, which feeds from the wizard spell list. So Remove Curse is indeed a wizard spell. So Tipsy actually might be able to help you. There might be some stipulations and conditions that it's only illusion or enchantment spells, but that's as close as I'm afraid you might get, and that's gonna be many days. So creating an uncommon magic item takes 20 days and 500 gold pieces, so that's costly. And you were saying that Tipsy spent the last 5 or 6 days learning the Manual of Quickness of Action, which might help reduce that time, but still, both of you spending all day on it, that'll still take 10 days. And then Rock speaks up. Well, 10 days is quite costly, but measure that to Algernon's decades, then how does that play out? And Paige goes, that's an excellent point. I'm not sure. But that's what I know about enchanting a item. And then outside of Bookworm's treasure, then Rock stops and turns around to Paige and he goes, well, I find you enchanting. So thank you for a unique, a truly unique dining experience. Absolutely. But thank you. You are a delightful creature. And I mean that in the most enduring, but thank you. And then Paige goes, you're welcome. Thank you very much. And then she gets up on her tippy toes and kisses him lightly on the cheek. And then Rock, full on purple in the face. And then Paige too, like you could see just the copper bronze like shine through her teal sand exterior. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. Bye. And then she scurries inside. And then Rock goes, That was very good for confidence. And now I'm very tired. I'm going home. And then he starts heading home. And cut back to Toot-Toot, who is being shaken in the middle of the streets. It got darker outside. And then there's a crowd of maybe 10 people around. And there's one person, like, Toot-Toot can see the world pretty blurry, and he kind of sits up, and then he hears a voice. No, don't get up so fast, okay? This was a pretty hefty poison, so. And then Toot-Toot from the poison gotta craft Toot-Toot a new spleen. Yeah. Toot-Toot sees in one of the corners of his eyes, like, someone laying hands on him, and then like some gold light and energy underneath. And then Toot-Toot cringes because some of that healing is very hot or sharp, and he oh, okay, yeah. With this also, because of like Waterdeep, a detail that I eventually remember is that it is heavily guarded. So there's, okay, yeah. So the voice comes from one of the city guardsmen. And Toot-Toot kind of sits up, and the city guardsman, no, seriously, you have to lay back down for a while. Can you tell me any descriptors of this person who stabbed you then and ran away? We're trying to look for him, but unfortunately they're kind of slippery. And then Toot-Toot. Evens yes, odds no. 11, odd no. Interesting. That's kind of what I wanted, but I wanted the dice to tell me. So he goes, it's kind of blurry. I don't really remember. It was starting to get dark, so. And then with a deception, a 3 plus 6 for a 9 total for deception. Then the guard goes, here, let's wait until you feel a little bit better, then I'll try and ask you again, okay? Then Toot-Toot, yeah, okay. And then he kind of leans back down, and there's a lot of sweat on his forehead and like around his collar, and he like he can feel the rough pavement, well, like cobblestone streets on his back, and ow. And then the guard, after like maybe 10 more minutes, helps Toot-Toot up. Like another 2 city guardsmen are helping like walk him back to Tipsy's Tavern, because Toot-Toot is 7'3" and he's a big old boy. So 20 minutes later, then the guard asks again, excuse me, and I don't have like a mute button right here.
2 water bottles. Oh, I can feel my voice going. All right. Well, so, sorry. Then Toot-Toot, the guard asks again, all right, so we're trying to help you. Can you give us any descriptors? Height, gender, distinguishing features? Then Toot-Toot, let's see. Not deception again, because I don't want to roll the same thing twice because it's boring. Performance, he will perform that he's just really dizzy and had his marbles knocked out of him. So let's see how that goes. 13 plus 8, there it is. So with the 21, then Toot-Toot. Oh, everything's really dark now, and you just said it was poison, so that is pulsating through my head, and it's been a very long day, officer. I'm not sure how much help I can be right now.
Which none of those were deceit. It was just, not explicitly the truth.
So the guard goes, all right, well, if you remember anything, you can find any guard in the streets, and you can call for us, and we can assist you. Okay, you take it easy now. All right, that was some bad stuff went through your system. And Toot-Toot goes, yeah, no kidding. All right, thank you very much, officers. City Guardsman, I'm good here. Toot-Toot says, opening Tipsy's tavern door and kind of stumbling inside with the lasting effects of that 21 performance. And slowly, mournfully closes the door and then locks it and then, throws his back up against the door and slides down. Oh. Ow. And let's see. Onyx and Tipsy will still be drinking and partying up in the yawning portal. Poor Bonnie, who said she would spot this check. Oof. That's just gonna be a lot of money. But Rock is probably home already and then just upstairs in the library. So Toot-Toot, interesting. Yeah, Toot-Toot straightens back up, and Leaf floats out of a wall and to greet him, and then Toot-Toot says, "Oh, hello, Leaf. I'm sorry, old friend. Oh, look, it's all amazing, your artwork. I just got stabbed. I know, it's not that bad. But I got fixed up, and I think I just need to head to bed. So, I will see you in the morning, dear half-elf ghost friend." And then Toot-Toot kind of clambers up the stairs to the second floor, and then as he gets to the top of the floor, then he looks in Tipsy's open room, where his door's just flung open, and you can see already there's schmutz lying everywhere. And Toot-Toot sees kind of the straw nest that Waddles made on Tipsy's desk, and he notes Tipsy's companionship, and then that, looking across the hallway from Tipsy's open door room, is the giant hulking figure rat arted on the wall, and that reminds Toot-Toot of the were-rats.
So of Cleo and Remy and Algernon that Tipsy's helping, and then he clambers up the stairs some more to Onyx's door right at the top of the stairs, and he looks in and okay. Back on the second floor, then Toot-Toot takes out some of the stickers and he peels the back off of the Tipsy sticker and then puts it on Tipsy's door, and then climbs upstairs to Onyx's door where he peels the backing off of the Onyx sticker, and as he places it on the door, then he's thinking of of Onyx and Yagra / Tiffany, and then he kind of limps and lumbers over to the library and study where Rock's door is closed, but he can hear this gleeful coming from inside, and Toot-Toot gets up closer, and with his giant ear he presses it up against the door to actively listen with advantage because he has keen hearing. So that was a 12 and a 16 plus perception 3 with a 19. Then he can hear Rock inside. You can hear a quill, and then he goes, "What rhymes with page? Page, beige, cage? Oh, no. Not cage. Dage, phage, gauge? Oh, like gauge. Okay. Hage, jage." And then Toot-Toot removes his ear from the door and thinks about Rock and Page and that pairing. And then he peels the backing off of the Rock sticker and places it on the library and study. And then he finally makes it to his master bedroom, and then he puts the Toot-Toot sticker up, and his hand just lingers on this artwork of the Loxodon Bard displayed on his door, and he takes a moment to take this in, and then he opens the door and clambers over to the bed, the California king bed. But we made a joke when they were first making the beds from the Forest for the Trees. I don't remember what, like an emperor-sized bed or something, which is the massive 7'3" Loxodon bed frame. So he collapses on the bed and and it was just a lot that happened today, the past 2 weeks. And he takes out the 3-necked lute, race car red, called the Motherfucker, and he places it on his chest, and he starts somberly picking at it. And the mechanic that I have for learning new proficiencies is that I'm playing around with in D&Me having 3 to 5 scenes of them doing the thing, of them trying, because it's boring to have like 10 scenes of Rock learning Sylvan, for example. So maybe 5 scenes of Toot-Toot actively practicing, and then he'll gain proficiency in stringed instruments. But he's plucking right now, and let's roll for it. Performance, baby. 5 plus 8, 15. He's very 13. He's very tired, so it's not good. But he's plucking, and then just exasperated sighs and a pitchy unmelodic song that eventually Toot-Toot I'm all alone, yes, all alone. There is no one here beside me. I'm all alone. I'm lonely. I'm so lonely. Don't have nobody to call my own. Toot-toot cellophane, toot-toot cellophane should have been my name. One is the loneliest number that you'd ever do. Toot, 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 toot. Toot can be as bad as one. It's the loneliest number since the number one. Oh. No is the saddest experience you'll ever know. Toot, 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 toot. Yes, it's the saddest experience you'll ever know. Toot, 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 toot. One is the loneliest number that you'd ever do. Toot, 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 toot. No, it's this much is true. And then Toot-Toot closes his eyes and then plucks out. He salvages some tunes. Toot, 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 toot. Toot, 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 toot. And then for 5 minutes, he's plucking out this tune, writing this song. And then after a little bit, then he comes up with toot 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 toot. Toot 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 dun 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 dun. Ever since I've lost you, I felt this certain doom. My thoughts would run a wild chase, they'd dash around and zoom. Every note and every taste a cloud of constant gloom. And now I'm here and you are not as. Toot 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 toot. And now I'm left here all alone, all awkward and large. Without your sound, your guiding touch, I have to be in charge of this lost soul, of what songs would mean, of all the things I could have seen. For what they say, the story's told, an empty hand missing to hold. Of what they believe, what they perceive, songs and stories my heart to leave. And now I am the elephant in the room. Dun 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 dun. Elephant in the room. And he touches the pan flute around his neck and sighs, and he falls asleep. So, thank you very much for joining me tonight. This was episode 34. And I'm back, baby. Thank you, Mike, for being very good. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. I'm Victor Rivera, and this was D&Me, a one-man show where I play Dungeons & Dragons by myself. I stream on Wednesdays on Twitch at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I upload the video the following morning, Thursdays, on my YouTube page. Today's show will be up Thursday, April 14th, and next week's episode will be live Wednesday, April 20th. You can find me on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and a bunch of other stuff. Where? On my Linktree. That's linktr.ee/D&Me Adventures and Like Gnome. And get out of here. Dodie or something says, beautiful and so sad. Thank you. I roll to see which of my characters gives tonight's outro. Rock rolled last time. So, let's see who will roll today. True Jack says, that was great to see live. Really stellar one-man show. Thank you very much, True Jack. Thank you. Tipsy is 1. Onyx is 2. Toot-Toot is 3. Tipsy is 4. Onyx is 5. Toot-Toot is 6. 1. Tipsy.
Love! I love my face on everything. Hey, you want a t-shirt? Come here.
And then he chucks a t-shirt at someone who's like, spills his drink, but hey, I got a t-shirt. And then Tipsy fucked up. Let's roll on the Tipsy drunk table right here for the outro. Tipsy drunk table. Let's roll for our little forest gnome rogue. 15. So he splashes up so he throws the t-shirt cannon as he can, but it bumps into someone and makes them spill their drink all over themselves. And Tipsy goes, I am so sorry, but here, you get a free t-shirt. That's yours, man. You want that? Hey, you want an athletic t-shirt? Or do you want a fitted Hey, you know what? No, hey, come here. You also get a hat. Not my hat. I get a baseball cap. You get a dad hat. Dad hat looks great on you. And then this guy who has ale splashed all over him goes, hey, man, this is awesome. What a great shirt. Whoa, that's you on there. Look. And then that's that little rat. Oh my gosh. And this hat is so good. So Tipsy lost a t-shirt and a dad hat. But he gained new friend, which is what 15 was, befriend someone new. So Tipsy now has a new friend. So, hey, everyone gets a hat. Except Victor can't afford that. So, you can buy a hat on the Redbubble or the Convex Crimson. And with that, thank you so much for watching. I'm quite sleepy. Being back feels great, but man, that's a lot of energy. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you next week.